Hotty toddy, Ole Miss fans, and welcome to the Brad and Chad Show on the OM Network. Brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans, made in the USA. This is the show by and for Ole Miss fans, where you'll get expert insight and analysis on Ole Miss athletics. And now, here are your hosts, former Rebels Chad Flowers and retired NFL star Bradley Sowell.
Podcast time.
Brad and Chad Show brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans. We are now in April. Easter time is upon us. We got Masters this week. We had a hell of a women's national championship. Men play tonight. Ole Miss baseball still not really doing real well. But Bradley Sowell's here with me. Bradley, how are you, man?
I am good, man. You know, I'm burnt if you can't tell. I've got the old softball tan rolling again. I mean, my neck is on fire. My head's, peeling already. So yeah, just out in the sun all day this Saturday. That's about what we do on the weekend. So
did you get any shouting matches with parents this weekend?
I did not this weekend, and we still did not hear from the one coach from whatever team that was where they got mad at me. So no shouting matches this weekend. This weekend was pretty even keel. So we just kind of got after it and got out of there.
Okay, good. Crumble cookie update. Pretty good flavors this week.
So today, I'm going to pass this week, but they do have the iced oatmeal, which is kind of haunting me. I think that's kind of a cool sounding flavor. And you got like the Easter theme one too. So
okay,
you got a fudge brownie one. So I'm doing my best. I'm pissed that you just reminded me again after I looked this morning. I kind of forgot about them. Now I'm going to probably end up ordering that iced oatmeal one.
Are you a Peeps guy? I know it's Easter. Are you a Peeps guy? Do you eat the marshmallow Peeps and that shit? Or are you more of a Cadbury cream egg guy?
I like stuff with texture. So oatmeal, I can't just eat just straight up sugar or like a marshmallow to me is disgusting. Like unless it's on something, Okay. I need some texture.
I'm a Cadbury cream egg guy. Those are really good. Now they're so sweet that you'll probably have I'll have palpitations after eating one of those. But those things are fantastic. But yeah, Easter this weekend. Hopefully, I can steal some of my son's candy. I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, that's what it's all about, right? They go on the Easter egg hunts, and you're popping them eggs right there with them. Boom, 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 boom. Just trying to find the best snack in there. So. That's 100% what it's all about. Just like the Valentine's Day bags and the kids bring them home.
And Halloween. Yeah, it's all about just, all right, man, you got to pay a tax. Hey, I'm paying these bills around here. Let me see what you got. Let me get all the good stuff.
Yeah. Well, we'll continue our theme of depressed eating while watching Ole Miss baseball. That's pretty much what it's all about right now for us.
Yeah, I was trying to ignore us having to talk about the incompetency that we're seeing right now, but I guess we brought it up, so let's talk about it.
Where are you at? Is that so? I seen a funny quote, and we'll see what you think about this. That somebody was like, "The luster is off the trophy." So
no, it's not. I mean, it's not at all for me. I think that's silly. Look, we lost a lot, right? Going into the season, everybody's like, "Man, how are we going to replace Elko and Graham and DeLucia and all them?" It's not that easy. It's not that easy to replace all these pieces, and it's not like we're playing the worst teams in the SEC. We've played three. You can argue Texas A&M is meh, but it's not like we're playing the worst teams in the SEC and getting our ass kicked. We're playing really good teams, and we're losing. And we were competitive. We got our first win in the SEC, but no, the lack of the losing of the luster of the trophy. I mean, we would have to lose every game by 10 runs for the rest of the season for me to lose the luster of a national championship. I mean, look.
Well, how do you feel about this comment? If they say if we're going to build a statue, you better hurry up and build it. So. What do you think about that? I mean, I guess people are essentially saying that Bianco is losing favorites.
Ole Miss fans are the worst. I'm sorry, and I'm an Ole Miss fan, but it is so, what have you done for me lately? And we have no history to back any of that up. We have, 2 national championships in the history of the school, if you want to count like NCAA recognized. I'm not going to get into the 60s with everybody claiming football national championships and all that shit. We have, a women's golf championship, and we have a baseball championship. And those have happened in, the last 3 years. And everybody's acting like, holy shit, we have this pedigree of winning in this university that is unmatched in the nation. No, just get over yourself. Be happy that we won a national championship. Yeah, we're not playing real well, but you still get to go to Swayze and sit outside in the sun and have a good time. Yeah, we'll win some more games in the future. Jesus Christ, give it a rest. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, this is a very participation trophy type response, but we'll take it.
I mean, yeah, I want to win every game too, but I mean, I have to be realistic that we're not going to, like when Ole Miss wins maybe 8 games in football this year, I'm going to be like, okay, yeah, we can't compete with some of these bigger SEC schools, but I'm happy that we're going to a bowl game. Yeah, I want to win every game, but I'm also realistic that we're not going to beat Georgia and Alabama. I'm going to give you a spoiler for the upcoming football season. We're going to lose in Athens. We're going to lose in Tuscaloosa because we're probably not going to be as good as those two teams. That's just what it is.
But you know what though? There's people out there that when we start out the season 3-0 and we beat,
like this podcast. I like this podcast.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, man, I think these guys. I think we're gonna beat the hell out of Georgia. Let's go. We just beat Austin Peay by 50, baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, yeah. Everybody's gonna be like, yeah. You know what? We may be pretty good. Everybody's giving us disrespect in the media, not talking about. They're talking about our schedule, like, oh, we're not really that good. Yeah, they were right. We weren't really near as good as we thought they were, and yeah, our defense and offense are struggling. Yeah. So no, I mean, like I said, I'm just happy that we won because I'm a Cubs fan. I'm a Dolphins fan. Which means that I don't see a lot of success. I'm also a 5'7" short white guy that doesn't really have anything going for him athletically. So I'm just happy to have wins in my life at this point, right? Hey, Ashley, I love you, and I'm not talking about our marriage or anything like that. I'm very happy in that. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I'm just, fuck. I have nothing else going on sports-wise. Give me some wins. We got one last year. I can coast for a few seasons, and we'll be fine. It's okay.
No. How do you think Graham, Elko, and those guys are feeling? You think they're like low-key, like kind of happy they didn't just like come out and match him and like ruin the legacy? Or do you
probably
as a player looking back, sometimes you are like, okay, yeah, they suck without me, so it's kind of cool. But I wonder how they're actually feeling inside.
Yeah, I'm sure part of it is, hey, yeah, I know how it feels. Hopefully they can get hot so they're not just getting berated by fans that expect them to go undefeated every season. But yeah, I'm sure they weren't like, yeah, I hope they don't have a better season and win the national championship with a better record. I mean, who wouldn't feel that way? Because what they did was pretty special last year.
What we have to do and get out there right now is so now is the time. Okay. All the people last year when Ole Miss was 7-14, that when we won the national title was like, I told you so. If you are one of those individuals that's an I told you so, now is the fucking time to stand up.
It is.
And say, hey, are we going to the national title? Are we going to Omaha or not? I do not want to hear it after the fact if it happens, right? So for all the I told you so's last year, please stand up now and let us know. Are we going? Are we going out? Now's the time, not when we're in the freaking finals. So
I will say this. I'll go ahead and make my prediction. We will make it to Hoover. We will make the SEC tournament, and we will make the NCAA tournament. So I will say that. Obviously, that's not a huge limb considering how successful the program has been, but we're 1-8 in the SEC. I still think we make it to Hoover. We're going to get Hunter Elliott back. The pitching is going to figure itself out. Bianco, for all of his criticisms, he's going to figure it out. He figured it out last year. We will figure it out. The offense is still decent. Reagan Burford, after I talked bad about him last week, he actually had a pretty decent weekend. Maybe he's the answer at third base. We will make it to Hoover. We will make it the NCAA tournament. I'm not going to say we're going to go to Omaha again, but no, they're gonna be fine. We're gonna get some relief. We're gonna play Mississippi State in Starkville. We're gonna win 2 out of 3. Book it. I'll go ahead and put that down. We're gonna win 2 out of 3 in Starkville.
2 out of 3 there. Arkansas. I mean, really, if we had we're one great weekend away from getting back in this.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm saying we're going to sweep Arkansas at home. That's crazy to even say, but maybe you get hot and sweep Arkansas at home, win 2 out of 3, and boom, you're right back in the thick of it as far as just getting back respectable. And what we learned last year too was you don't need to have this crazy season. Just get in, right? Just get in and know you have the talent like we had last year. It don't matter at that point. It's just baseball, right? And you're freaking a couple games away. 5 wins really away from getting Omaha. So
yeah,
that's the mindset we got to have right now. I mean, it's not just because you're not one of the top seeds don't mean shit. I mean, look at Tennessee last year. They battled all year, killed everybody. They lost to a freaking academic school in baseball. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I completely agree. Did you? I know you were softballing this weekend, but did you get a chance to watch any of? Look, Caitlin Clark, basketball player from Iowa, fun to watch. She's an assassin out there on the court.
I found myself watching Iowa basketball, women's basketball in this tournament, which I thought was crazy to even say. I didn't even know anything about that before this tournament, but Yeah, no, I tuned in, man. She's a baller. She was fun to watch. She's one of the. I mean, she just is literally like you look at her and she just looks normal and like nothing special. But like when she gets the ball, like how fast she is and the way she can shoot, like she is really legit, man.
Yeah, I watched more of the South Carolina game on, Friday than I did yesterday against LSU in the national championship. But man, just watching her she can pass the ball. It's not like, she takes a lot of shots, and rightfully so. She makes 40. She averages, over 30 points a game. She scored 40 against South Carolina. But man, she passes the ball well. She can shoot from anywhere. She shoots from the midcourt logo like it's nothing. She's like Steph Curry out there, and it's crazy. And now you've got all the conversation that's happening today. Obviously, you'd think that everybody's just talking about LSU winning, but no, we're talking about the shit talking that was going on during the game between Angel Reese of LSU and Caitlin Clark. And it's funny how nobody realizes that Caitlin Clark likes to talk a little bit shit too. Right, there's the highlight of the South Carolina girl standing at the 3-point line, and nobody was guarding her, and she just kind of, okay, I'm not going to guard you, so you can shoot it or whatever. And then Angel Reese yesterday, as the game was pretty much in, it wasn't in question anymore. LSU was going to win. She was basically just shit talking Caitlin Clark, and everybody's going off on Angel Reese, but there's plenty of highlights where, Caitlin Clark likes to run her mouth too. Rightfully so. She's great. Angel Reese is good too, and she's bringing home a national championship. So I don't understand all this animosity toward LSU, even though I think Kim Mulkey, their coach, she's awful on the sideline. She is just berating. I could have really gotten this.
She looks like the head of a bunco organization.
If there was ever
organization, and yo ass ain't getting in the door without giving her $10.
If there was ever someone that personified the Karen movement, it's Kim Mulkey. Right? It's Kim Mulkey. I mean, the way that how she grabbed an official yesterday and didn't get a technical or anything like that. It was crazy how they just let her march up and down the court and just get away with everything. And the refs were awful, just bullshit technicals that they were throwing on Iowa. I was rooting for Iowa because, she's fun to watch, Caitlin Clark. But damn, good job to LSU. They shut them down and they won. But man, that was just a fun game. And it's crazy that, there's so much conversation going into women's college basketball other than, man, is it just too boring because UConn's going 40-0, 5 straight seasons and just beating the shit out of everybody? It's actually refreshing that we're having a conversation like this when that's not something that I can remember anything happening in the past.
Yeah, that's why I don't mind the Angel Reese stuff because, listen, it's good for their game. It really is. It's good for women's college basketball.
Yes.
It's something worth watching, right? They're playing with a little motion. The Caitlin girl, she has to talk. Somebody just didn't come up and talk crap to you without you doing some shit too. Like that's 100%. Very uncommon. And if somebody's out there doing that and you've not said anything, then it's a bad look. But obviously something was said. Or the crap talk was going on. It is what it is. Sometimes, man, when you talk it, you got to be able to take it as well. So I like it. It has everybody reading about women's college basketball today, right? It gives them some viewership and something interesting. So I don't mind it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. Did going back to baseball real quick? Have you been following any of the opening day was this past weekend with all the new rule changes that were going on? We had Brett Huber on a few weeks ago talking about how he hates the pitch clock. Dude, I love it. Games are they're down by like 30 minutes on average. Yeah. They're like 2.5 hours. I think there was one game on Friday played in like 2 hours and 5 minutes. Sign me up for that, right? I don't have time to sit and watch a 4-hour game until 11, 12 o'clock at night. Let me get on and do something else. Let's speed this game up. I don't need people stepping out of the box, adjusting their batting gloves every 5 minutes and, relief pitchers or pitchers throwing it over to first base 12 times to try to get someone that's not stealing. Let's move the game along. And I think it's great for the game. I've actually found myself watching more of it.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of why sometimes you enjoy basketball, right? It's 2 hours and 30 minutes and it's done. Like, man, you watch a baseball game, it's like the fourth inning, and it's you've been sitting there all day. It feels like. So, no, I definitely can. I definitely found myself being able to tune into MLB baseball a lot more now.
Yeah, it should. Hopefully, it's going to continue. And you got the new shifting, so there's more offense in the game. You saw way more stolen bases than you have in the past. So I think as much as Rob Manfred got a lot of criticism for the changes that he was trying to install, I think for at least the first weekend, it's paid off. And I think that is, I think that's good for the game because they're definitely slipping. They're probably third in the big three between football and basketball in terms of viewership, especially with the younger crowd where attention span is everything at this point. I hope that this is going to get baseball back into the national spotlight a little bit more because we talked about my fantasy baseball league, all that good stuff. I love it. I like watching it. I like following it. And I think that's only going to do good things for the sport in general.
What is what's the reward? What do y'all? If you win your fantasy baseball league, what do you get?
Well, we actually we do cash. I think we do. It's $120 buy-in, but we also do a free pair of Blue Delta jeans. So part of that money. Props to Blue Delta, our sponsor. I don't know if they know that they're doing this, but so a buddy of ours who works, who's in the league, he works for Blue Delta, and so we pitch in $100, $120. 20 of that goes to the jeans, right? So the winner gets a free pair of jeans, and I think they win over $700 for one league. So it's a good little pot, and like I said, you get a free pair of Blue Delta jeans, handmade right in the USA, fit you and only you. So yeah, it's a pretty good pot, and it keeps everybody engaged because you're getting a pretty good deal for just paying attention and keeping active throughout the season.
Did you do a bracket? What's your bracket like? Do you think anybody had this final predicted?
No, I had UCLA winning it all. I didn't have any one seeds, or excuse me, I didn't have any Final Four teams right. I think I had UConn in the Elite Eight. I think that was the closest thing that I had to accuracy compared to what actually happened. But of course, I did not have FAU. I had FAU beating Memphis. That was the extent of that. And like I said, I had UConn in the Elite Eight. I didn't have the other teams. No, not at all.
I'll have to look around. I always love this time of year reading about people's brackets who are close or at least predicted the final. That'd be interesting. If you could randomly predict this one, man, that was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't imagine anybody had. I can see 2, maybe 3 teams, especially considering UConn was a 4 seed. San Diego State was a 5 seed, so I could see someone slipping them in, but they were in Alabama's side of the bracket. I would be stunned if somebody had an accurate Final Four, but I'm sure there's somebody out there considering the number of brackets that get filled out every year. Mm-hmm. Have you been following any of the spring football stuff? They have the scrimmage this past weekend. Spencer Sanders has been playing. I mean, everybody's been playing. Seems to be a lot of guys sitting out for injuries. I think Pettis didn't practice on Saturday. I don't think there's any real word on what's going on because, injuries are kind of tough to get out, especially from Coach Kiffin. But this time of year, you're probably not going to expound too much on that. But you've been following it all, kind of getting a sense of what guys are doing what?
Yeah, no, I'm like you. I mean, you look on the thing, and there's half your team's not even practicing. I think at one point both tackles were out. I did kind of read over, what was, I guess what you look quarterback stats and all that. Sounds like Dart had a good day. Sound like Sanders was, his throwing percentage was okay. But I guess apparently he's really impressive with his feet. I'm gonna have to get up there and see one here. Probably I may go in the next couple of weeks. Try to get up there and check him out. Walker Howard, somebody who sounds like he's a lot better than what people were saying, or not a lot better than people were saying, but a lot farther along in this competition than I think people realize as far as his talent. And I'm telling you, he's still one that I want to really get my eyes on and see. But I think there's a lot of corral comparisons with him, and should be good, man. I feel like we're in a good spot. I really do.
Did you see where Greg McElroy said that he predicts that Spencer Sanders is the starter come September or whenever the season starts?
Yeah, I was wondering if Greg had his eyes closed and was just like...
he would be 3 on my list. Of the 3, he would be the number 3 guy for me based on just the shoulder injury notwithstanding. You've got Jackson Dart, and then you've got Walker Howard, who's got just as much pedigree as anyone. I don't understand what he's talking about.
This brings me to a good point. I don't want to get off the rails a little bit, but in TV, these guys are having to cover all these teams. Mm-hmm. And it is almost virtually impossible unless you sit there all day to actually understand the exact nuances of every team. And someone like that could easily look over an Ole Miss and be like, oh, okay, cool. Spencer Sanders, he started a bunch of, he'll probably be the starter of Dart, and just move right on. And then you release it out there, and obviously we get it, other teams don't get it. And this is media in general, right? They release stuff that people are reading, and you think, oh man, that's probably a good opinion, but the actual fan base look at it and be like, this guy's a freaking idiot. And that's kind of what Ole Miss fans look at it and say, it's like, man, so that's an aggressive take. Whereas to him, he's probably like, well, he's probably a little better than Dart. He played in the Big 12, whatever. Or maybe he did his homework and he thinks that. But I don't think there's any way of saying that right now is my point. Maybe he ends up being right, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit a pretty important point. I mean, with the 24-hour news cycle, and we're not even talking just sports now, right? I mean, you can talk anything with your CNNs, Fox, and all that type of stuff. You just got to be up there talking about something. So they're just trying to pull any kind of bullshit take for that people are, then they can put it on Twitter. So people are going to start retweeting like, did you hear what this guy said? It's all just manufactured bullshit. And this kind of sounds like this is exactly what this is, because you're right. Yeah. Greg McElroy, he's a college football analyst, so he's got to be able to talk knowledgeably about all 120 some odd teams, or at least have some type of information. There's no way he can have all that information in his head. Zero. He's
zero. So that there was a podcast one time where it was gonna be like an SEC podcast, and I was asked to do it, and I have no interest because you have to know every team. I would not give two shits about reading about Vandy or some of these teams, or even trying to learn the players. So I was like, no, I would have zero. There's no way. It's hard to keep up with all the Ole Miss's information. Going over what happens daily. Imagine having to deal with all the teams, and it's revolving. So my point is, Greg, it's not a great take.
It's really bad. It's not a good take at all. And I think Jackson Dart's brother had a pretty interesting comment. I've got it.
His dad, wasn't it? I think it's.
Oh, maybe it is his dad, Brandon Dart.
Looks like his brother, so he must have had Jackson pretty young.
Yeah. So he said, might be the dumbest comment of the day. You guys love to push your agenda, don't you? 3 question marks. I have some good contacts from within. This won't happen. And it's not the sentiment around the program either.
Is he that dad? Is Dart's dad that dad?
Yeah, he's Shea Patterson's
sits there all day and he first he Googles his son's name, or he Twitter searches his son's name, and he's just like, he can't get over that somebody would say something about his kid. Whereas I'm just going to warn him now, if his kid ever becomes an actual NFL quarterback or famous, or even at Ole Miss in general, there's no way he will drive himself crazy trying to defend takes. So sometimes it's best just to say nothing and just keep it moving, right? It's like he sits there all day and he's like, damn, I'm going to comment this one. No, I won't comment this one. And he just gives in. It's like, I got to comment to this one. And he just says something like that. And it's like, man, you got to realize these are college kids, and this guy has a dad as well. So what if his dad's like, well, fuck you, Mr. Dart. I think Spencer may win the bet. Just relax, bro.
Do you think he has any burners on the rival side or OM Spirit, just trolling for what people are saying about for Jackson?
Yeah, 100%. He's like, I know Jackson personally. I know what he eats for breakfast. It's like my favorite comment on those sites are when somebody comes flying in to the rescue, then the next person's like, hey, how's it going, Mr. Darter? Hey, how's it going, Jackson?
People call him out on it. I don't know how. Look, I mean, I'm not immune to it. I get on message boards too.
Yeah, they're fun. I like it.
They're fun, but I don't know how people can just stay on those things for so long, because it is completely devoid of reality in a lot of cases. It's just bullshit take after bullshit take after bullshit take. And it's like, why did you take the energy to type out why so-and-so should be fired because they lost this one game and they're not even considering buyouts or anything like that? Why take the energy to waste to put on Al Gore's internet all this bullshit that you're getting on there with? Who care? Why do you care? And then people are just like, man, what are you talking about, dude?
I'll tell you that this is one of the funniest things, like a good message board story. So, sometimes you get on there, and I've been a victim of getting worked up on there, right? It'll be like the same guy, and finally it'll get to me, and I'll start typing, arguing with these guys. And then I think I went 2 days arguing with the same guy on there one time. And our good buddy Ben Garrett sent me a picture. He's like, listen. He sent me the Facebook screenshot of the guy, and he's like, you realize this is the guy that you're arguing with, right? And you realize that you're arguing with some guy. I'm not going to say, it's called a random town in Iuka, Mississippi. That's all he got is his message board, and you are wasting your day arguing with this guy. And he's got you so worked up, and it's just like you're arguing with a wall. You'd be better off just going to argue with a wall. And I'm like, man, you know what? I got to quit just arguing. I can't be right, So it's, you got to realize sometimes people you're arguing with on there it's just a waste of time.
It's just like dogs at night barking in the distance. It's just that's how you're communicating on message boards. Just people barking at each other, not knowing what the hell anybody's talking about. It's just a waste of fucking energy. I don't understand it. Now, like I said, I read them. I don't post. I just kind of see what people are saying. But man, sometimes it is just devoid of reality on there, and it is just mind blowing.
So I heard, and this, I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard when he was here, he actually had a name, and they had figured out what the name was on the board. I don't know what the name was, but I heard that he had a burner account on there that he would
burner phone 69. Was that what it was?
I don't know, man, but apparently he used to post on there. That is hilarious. Now, I've never heard of a head coach in it, but I'm sure they do.
I have no doubt in my mind that he did that because, hell, just how active he is on Twitter. He does it under his own name on Twitter when people call him out on stuff. So I know I wouldn't be surprised if he just had a username YouFreeze on, the OM Spirit or rival site, whatever, because he cannot stand any type of criticism from anyone. It could be someone without even a profile picture and Bubba Gump 12 be their username. He's going to get in there and get his 2 cents in there to tell them exactly what he feels. It's just a complete waste of energy. I never understood.
Here's the great thing about Hugh, though. Like, he does that, and I feel him. But what he can always go back to, that motherfucker can coach, man.
He can. Yeah, I'm not going to
listen. I don't care. He has his way. He likes to defend himself. He likes to get into all that shit, which I'm like that a little bit too. Probably a little pettier than I should be at that stuff. But like that motherfucker can coach, and he is everybody deep down, on the outside, like, oh, Hugh Freeze laughing, but deep down their stomach, like, shit, we got to start. Now we got to play Auburn. You know what I mean?
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm terrified of playing Auburn. Don't get me wrong.
At some point, it's like, woof.
Dude, have you ever had family members get on message boards or on Twitter and you're like, look, man, just chill out. I got it. Don't worry.
For the longest time, people used to think that my dad would get on there and say stuff, but he was an old school OM Spirit guy back when it was like something else. But once it all got the old school guys are. Once like 24/7, all of them came in, and then it was more than $1 or some shit. Like, he was out of there. Yeah. So no, people used to think my dad would do stuff, but he won't do that. My dad will smack somebody at the game for sure. Like, if somebody ever says something, there ain't no playing around with old redneck Mr. Keith. So you say something at the game, it's probably going to be some issues.
Shit. That's pretty funny. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this the rest of spring unfolds, because back to McElroy, I don't know what information he has or if he's just trying to make some sort of comment just to say that he knows something, but he's really
an expert because he was probably like the 6th quarterback ago to win a national title for a team that's fully loaded.
That's fair. That's a good point. All right. So, I guess the other thing that I need to ask regarding message boards, are you on any softball message boards talking about, your players or your teams or anything like that? Because I know they're out there. But
I'll tell you what they're out there. I'll tell you what is pretty petty. So when you assemble these teams, right? So we assembled this team 3 months ago, and it's extremely hard to assemble these teams, especially coming in when they're 10, because all the players assemble at 8 years old, 6 years old, whatever. And they just
you're having to poach them off other teams, right?
Yeah, well, you're not really poaching them, but you're trying to figure out the ones that are left. Yeah, the ones that are left, and then the ones that aren't playing as much on these teams, maybe they come to you and contact you. Now, I don't contact these players. I always prefer the parents to contact me. Well, you get it. What's funny is on these, you have like these little softball sites or whatever, where you post these flyers, you need players, all that. Now that goes on, but you also have all the other teams' parents who send out like these subliminal, like, Facebooks, and they all message like, I know they're talking about us. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. They're 10-year-old girls. Like, I don't care if you're on this great team right now. So it's just like, it goes on and it's hilarious. It just cracks me up because a lot of these parents, they, they use travel sports to fill their egos, and the kids don't really care. They just want to go to the ballpark and eat a slushie and, play some ball. And hell, some of them are really good, some aren't. And it's just kind of like, it's just crazy. Some of these parents, I guess they didn't do anything in sports. That's what they're clinging to. But I don't know. Yeah, that does go on. It's hilarious, and I see it. Trust me, I see it. And the people who watch this know who I'm referring to too. So it's funny.
Brad and Chad show brought to you by also by Nest and Wild mattresses. They're created by Southern craftsmen, powered by decades of experience and passion for improving your quality of sleep. They're backed by a 99-night guarantee. Nest and Wild help you sleep easy. Made locally in Tupelo, Mississippi. You can find them on Amazon or nestandwild.com.
Chad, have you been? So, did you see the UFC and WWE was merging as random? But I saw an article today where apparently it's like a $21 billion company now. With did you grow up watching WWE and all that, or where were you at on that?
Okay, so my brother started watching it a lot more before I did, but we did have the figurines. Right, we had the wrestling ring, and then we had like Ultimate Warrior, Big Boss Man, Jake the Snake, all of them. We had the little the action figures, but my brother watched it a lot more before I did. But I started getting in right in the WWF at the time Attitude Era. So when Stone Cold, The Rock, all of them started coming in. I did not care as much about WCW, which I know may be sacrilege to a lot of people, but I did not care. I always just looked at it as off-brand wrestling to me. I was all into the WWE stuff. So, but I was a big Stone Cold guy, Mankind, Undertaker. I enjoyed all of those. But yes, were you a big wrestling guy either?
Yes, I watched it, but like, I just don't understand how people just cling to it even when they're older. Like,
but soap opera. It's soap opera for men. That's all it is.
Well, I hate to say it is fake, right? But it does take a really rigorous training and like athleticism to do it. Now, I'm not saying that all that's fake, but like they get really mad when it's fake. But like I cannot when they start like doing the fake air punches and like dude just like hits no sound and dude just flies there. I'm just like, man, I can't do it. But I will say some entertainment is fun. But I don't understand how UFC and WWE can coexist. I don't know. It's just it seems like an odd thing to.
Well, it's actually. I mean, UFC's parent company, my understanding, is the one that is acquiring WWE for $9 billion. Now, like you said, I wonder if there's going to be some cross promotion between that, right? To have some of the UFC guys show up on some of the WWE telecasts to kind of promote. You're right. I don't know how that's going to work, but my understanding is the parent company that owns UFC is the one acquiring WWE. So Vince McMahon's getting a big payoff. Not that he needs any more money, but so that's my understanding of it. But yeah, I watch wrestling, and I'm actually on TikTok, and I'll see like some behind the scenes on how certain characters became who they were. I find myself watching those, right? Learning about the history of The Undertaker, the history of Goldberg, even though he was WCW. That stuff's really interesting to me because while yes, some of the actual wrestling can be kind of hokey and like, okay, that was not a good punch that he threw or whatever. The physicality that those guys take, the number of shows that they do every year, it's unreal what they put their bodies through and the skill and how fast some of those big guys can move. Man, it's really, really impressive. And like I said, it's a soap opera, right? I mean, the storylines that they come up with, it can be really engaging stuff. You find yourself yelling at the TV because you hate a certain person so much, or you like this guy and he gets screwed over because someone snuck up from behind the ring and knocked him out with a chair or some kind of weird object. Yeah, you get those emotions going a little bit. It can be kind of fun. I mean, I saw on Twitter last night, it was WrestleMania this past weekend, which is now a 2-night event. Apparently, it was wild this past weekend too, so it's bigger and better than ever, apparently.
Man, apparently, I guess they pay well because, man, a lot of people end up going there, which is, I mean, that's just crazy, dude. There are people that are fascinated with this. Like, they are obsessed with this wrestling crap.
Oh yeah. And now there's some cross promotion with Joe Rogan selling supplements on Raw or something like that to increase your mind productivity or whatever it is he does. So that should be pretty interesting. Another sports thing that's going on this week. Are you a big Masters guy? Do you follow that?
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite weekends of the year, man. That tournament is fun to watch.
Have you ever been to Augusta? Have you ever been to the tournament at all?
I have not been to the tournament.
No, I haven't either. I'd like to go, but yeah,
I have not been to the tournament. I have been to Augusta.
I've been to Augusta too. There's not a whole lot to write home about beyond the actual course, but it's what's going to be interesting to me is, I'm sure, I don't know if everybody follows the LIV and the PGA split, right? You had golfers that leave for the Saudi-backed LIV tour. And so they're able to play in all the majors. So there will be some guys that are playing this weekend in the Masters. And the ratings have been terrible. I think they're like the CW for LIV. So nobody's been watching Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson. Nobody's been seeing them play really, just your normal fans. So it's going to be interesting to see how they look, because they also don't play a standard tournament. They play a shotgun start, 54 hole, whatever you want to call it. So it's not your traditional 72 holes, however the PGA does it. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they're more refreshed because they're not playing as much golf, or they're rustier because they're not playing, your standard tournaments that they normally do. So that's gonna be a really interesting storyline to follow this weekend.
Yeah, no, I do think it'll be interesting to see how, like, to me, it makes you want to tune in more. I'm like, because what if one of these, what if one of these guys win, right? What if they LIV one of the, which they can, they're good golfers, don't get me wrong, but like if they win, it's just like, it's almost like a, team.
I don't need the PGA Tour type thing.
So that does make it interesting. It's just a great tournament all around. I mean, people obviously know it's one of the greatest events in the world, but it is fun to watch. There's nothing better than a good Sunday.
Yeah, and a lot of people thought that there was a ban on LIV players in this tournament, but I think that's only for PGA sanctioned events. And your Masters, even the British Open, the US Open, those are not PGA events. So they're able to play in these tournaments, assuming the organizers of those tournaments allow them in, and apparently they're allowing them exemptions to get into all those, which, like I said, for the young, I understand why someone like Phil Mickelson did it, why he went, because he's in the tail end of his career. He's getting paid a shitload of money. Hell, he lost a lot of his money with all the gambling that he does, apparently. But someone like, your Dustin Johnson, some of these younger guys with seemingly more to prove in their career, unless you just hate playing golf and you can get paid a lot more to play less golf, I didn't understand the move to get away. You have less eyes on you. It's not near as prestigious. I just didn't understand that for some of those guys. It was kind of a weird choice in my eyes for some of those people.
I'm gonna give it to you like this, okay? Like, the whole narrative of like, okay, I'm playing sports, all I care about is the team. That shit goes out the window. It used to be after college. It went out the window. Now, obviously, college is about money as well. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you work to make money. And,
right.
And if you aren't selfish when you get to the NFL and when you get to the chance where they are paying you, I can promise you, when you are done being of value to them, they will shit on you and spit you right out. So there's no... You have to do, I get it. People, legacy, this, that. Listen, man, some of these guys are making some of these guys have made in 1 year more money than they've made in their last 20 years or 15 years in their career. And, you got to do it. I mean, you have to, because the game doesn't care about you. It's going to keep passing you up. There's going to be new players come. I don't fault some of these guys for making a financial decision and wanting to do it. Now, a guy like Tiger, I understand. I mean, Tiger's worth billions of dollars. I mean, it is what it is. Like, of course, I'm not doing it if I'm him, because it's not about the money. But some of these guys have not made life-changing money. Now, they make good money, right? And they're going to be fine. But if you tell me, hey, if I just go to a LIV golf and all of a sudden I've made $8 million in the last 12 years, but now I'm going to make 30 in the next 2, you're gone, man. Like there's no, and listen, that goes for anybody in life, right? If you're a top doctor at a hospital, no different. Another hospital comes and says, hey, I'll give you 10x your damn salary. Yeah, I'm gone. See ya. So it's no different with athletes and stuff. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And who gives a shit about a trophy at a PGA event? It says, hey, I'm the best golfer of the day. Cool, I got this on my record, but hey, I just made the guy that just came in 20th place in another tour just made 10 times your money this year. So like, it is what it is, man.
I think the biggest thing that I've tried to kind of put myself in, some of these professional athletes' shoes is, for us fans, we don't see it as a job, right? We see it as they get to play a game every day. But what we don't see is the number of hours that they have to prepare and practice, time spent away from family. There are times with anybody's jobs where you're sitting, man, I'm phoning it in today. I don't feel like doing this shit. I'm just going to watch the clock, and when it's 5, I'm out of here. I would imagine, and you were obviously a former professional athlete, I imagine that you had days like that where, man, I want to give it my all every time I can, but man, I'm just tired and I don't feel like doing it like that today. But the problem is people are rooting for you to do it things a certain way and they blame you when it's wrong. It's like, man, dude, it's just like I have bullshit days at my job. You have bullshit days at your job too. Did you not experience that when you were playing?
Yeah, I mean, players have real life issues that come up all the time. Imagine going to play, you're going to play a game and all of a sudden there's something going on at your house. And it's no different. And guess what? You're going on a game where there's 19 million people watching. You can't just leave and not play. I mean, all of a sudden, look what happened to Tom Brady this year, right? He's going through a freaking divorce trying to play football and entertain, and also they got intertwined. But yeah, no, it happens, man. But the only difference in pro sports is you can't just say F it and phone it in. Right. You have to just be there and do it, and with a smile on your face. And if somebody asks for an autograph, they don't know what you're going through at home, and all of a sudden you want to say fuck you. And some guys may do it. They're like, oh man, he's the biggest dick in the world, but you don't understand what he's going through on the side. So that's very real.
Jeff Griffin with the Stevenson Griffin Group at Baird Private Wealth Management. You can go to the group's website at stevensongriffinGroup.bairdwealth.com or always give them a call, 662-841-1900. Bradley, before we end for today, any big Easter plans this weekend? I doubt y'all are playing this weekend, right?
No, we are not playing this weekend, but I'm trying to schedule a practice. We'll see how the rain goes. I'm going to do it on Saturday. I'm going to be kind and do it on Saturday. We have a big tournament coming up at the end of the year. Or not at the end of the year, at the end of the month. That's going to be a pretty tough one. So we're trying to prepare for that. And nothing crazy. Just going to hang with the kids. I got 4 kids. So my holidays are already, I already have a party at my house every day, 6 people. So all you got to do is invite an in-law over and you got 8 and it's a party at that point. So we're just hanging at the house probably. Nice.
Well, have a good weekend. Have a good Easter, man. Hopefully enjoying watching the Masters. Hopefully you get a chance to watch some of that. And we'll catch up next week, okay?
See you, Chad. Howdy toddy.
Howdy toddy, man.
Thanks for listening to the Brad and Chad Show. Follow the boys on social media for more content. And don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. This has been an OM Network production, brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans, made in the USA.